Good evening and welcome to our platforms, nrpmediaja.com, also Facebook at nrpmediaja. It's Monday, January 22, 2024. I am Lou and Bramwell Shakes with the NRP Evening News Roundup. Here are the headlines. Target date set for the ban on plastic lunch boxes and personal care products with microplastic beads set for June 1. Government is actively considering removing the guarantor requirement for Students' Loan Bureau (SLB) applicants. JCF gets 30 new service vehicles. There has been partial restoration of some roadways blocked by protesters in northwest Clarendon this morning, MP responds. And in sport, Ministry of Sports committed to facilitating support of up to US $300,000 to benefit special athletes over the next years. The news today is brought to you courtesy of NRP Radio, reaching you where you are. No boundaries and no limitations.
Celebrating 3 years since our inception, the NRP brand of radio and other social media platforms on NRP Media JA online platform accessible for the promotion of your church and community activities along with news and sports related information. It's the platform you have been longing for. So call today at 876-336-9928 or email us at nationalreligiousmedia@gmail.com.
NRP Media and Radio, reaching you where you are. No boundaries, no limitations.
And now the news. The target date for the ban on plastic lunch boxes and personal care products with microplastic beads is June 1. This was announced by a minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Senator Matthew Samuda, recently. According to Minister Samuda, the government has taken its lesson of the first round of the plastic ban as it relates to public education and the need to give sufficient lead time. Additionally, he said the development of a national policy on the environmental sound management of single-use plastic products is to be done this coming fiscal year. Senator Samuda informed that Jamaica currently collects more than 30% of the plastic bottles produced monthly and commend the National Solid Waste Management Authority and the Recycling Partners of Jamaica for achieving this target, up from 8% 3 years ago to date. Meanwhile, Senator Samuda informed that Jamaica is actively participating in negotiations for a legally binding instrument on plastic pollution. He noted that the Paris Agreement relates to pollution and specifically plastic, and it is the government's intention to make sure that whenever that is agreed, the country is ahead of its targets and able to sign and ratify almost immediately once that is agreed. He added that the fight to halt biodiversity loss and to tame pollution will be underpinned this year by a significant increase of fines both in the natural resources conservation. He said additional details will be provided by Prime Minister Honest in his budget debate presentation. The government is actively considering removing the guarantor requirement for Students' Loan Bureau applicants. This was disclosed by Prime Minister Andrew Honest while responding to a question posed regarding higher education during a rap session with students at the Guys Hill High School in St. Catherine recently. According to the Prime Minister, previously required 2 guarantors. However, this was changed by the current government. Mr. Honest added that effective April 1, 2021, students applying for an SLB loan now only require 1 guarantor instead of 2, and additionally, since September 2023, the Program of Advancement through Health and Education PATH beneficiaries applying to the SLB do not need guarantors to support their submissions. The Prime Minister says the no guarantor policy also applies to the wards of the state. Prime Minister Honest also indicated that various grants are available for students. If qualified on the PATH, each student whose family is on PATH then the Prime Minister said they should get fairly substantial grant to go to a tertiary institution. And the Prime Minister informed that if a student from an underserved community or one who is in a vulnerable situation, then there are other grants for which they too are eligible. The fleet of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, the JCF, has been expanded with the addition of over 30 new service vehicles handed over by the Minister of National Security on June 19. That should read with an addition of 30 new service vehicles handed over by the Ministry of National Security on January 19. The L200 pickup trucks, valued at $230 million, were presented at the Office of the Commissioner of Police in Kingston. An additional 16 Hilux pickup trucks and 4 highest buses, totaling $177 million, are scheduled for delivery next week. National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang told JIS News that the investment is part of the government's commitment to security forces with the resources needed to support crime-fighting efforts. He added that a number of them will be involved in crime scene management and special activities of the police force. Over 40 will be added to the geographic teams and the special operations teams that carry out patrols. The National Security Minister also added that the superintendents will receive the vehicles and assign them to the most appropriate and bolster rapid response by JCF personnel. There is partial restoration of some of the roadways which were blocked by protesters in Northwest Clarendon this morning. Residents of several areas took to the street to protest what they say is failure of the political representative to fix the bad roads in their communities. They also criticized the Member of Parliament, Philip Henriquez, for not being true to his word regarding extension of the Moravia water supply to the communities. The roads were cleared with the assistance of the fire department and the Spalding's Fire Center at about 1 p.m. today. NRP News understands that the Spaldings to Alston Main Road and the Alston to Moravia and area in Manchester. Meanwhile, the Member of Parliament for Northwest Clarendon, Philip Henriquez, says he understands the protesters' demands but cannot do anything at this time, as he is awaiting the long process of government to get the roads repaired and the water supply extended.
I've spoken with many people throughout the entire constituency, up and down. I've been communicating with them, and I've told them that the road from Spalding through to Alston down by to the bridge, that road has been placed on the Sparks program, that road program you've heard the government speak about, and we are presently waiting for the Sparks program to finish its process of assessment and so forth and tell us when the work would be able to start. So that road has been definitely earmarked for the Sparks program, and it's just a matter of time now before we get it moving.
While acknowledging the long wait for the government's bureaucracy to work, Mr. Henriquez pointed fingers at the opposition influencing the protests in the constituency.
I just want to be very clear that this is not something that anybody has ignored them, or anybody has the specific set of people in a specific area who are behaving like this, and other areas we are working as quickly as we can to cover all the areas, but everybody can't get it at the same time. So we just have to have some patience and keep with the program.
Are you saying this is politically motivated?
I do believe there is some influence in that area, but no further comment on that.
Member of Parliament for Northwest Henriquez. You are listening to news on NRP Radio, your primary Christian source for news, sports, and the weather on nrpmediaja.com, reaching you where you are. No boundaries, no limitations.
Celebrating 3 years since our inception, the NRP brand of radio and other social media platforms on NRP Media JA is your newest online platform accessible for the promotion of your church and community activities along with news and sports related information. It's the platform you have been longing for. So call us today at 876-336-9928 or email us at nationalreligiousmedia@gmail.com.
NRP Media and Radio, reaching you where you are. No boundaries, no limitations.
And now let's give you some sporting information brought to you by Hepburns Glass, located at 13 Chisholm Avenue in Kingston.
Hepburns Glass Supplies is the latest trend-setting supplier of glass and mirrors in the industry. We specialize in tinted and clear glasses, as well as mirrors for all your windows, doors, and closets at very competitive prices. Maximize your shop. We stock 316 and 1/8 mirror thickness and 316 and quarter thickness in our entire stock of glasses. We have in stock gloves, cutters, and suction cups at unbeatable prices. Our customer service is second to none with same-day cutting for your specific measurements. Visit our office at 13 Chisholm Avenue, Kingston 13. Call us at 9080962 or email hepburn.glass@gmail.com. Hepburns Glass, quality service is our priority.
And now for our sports stories with Leon Nash. Leon?
Sport has committed to facilitating support up to US $300,000 to benefit special athletes over the next 4 years. Portfolio Minister Oliver Grange made the announcement recently during the symbolic signing of a memorandum of understanding between the ministry and Special Olympics Jamaica in support of the Special Olympics Global Leadership Coalition for Inclusion. The signing took place at the ministry's office at 46 Trafalgar Road, Kingston. The agreement arising from the MOU will be signed at a later date. The coalition is a global multilateral effort aimed at increasing inclusive sports and educational opportunities. Under the MOU, there will be increased collaboration between the ministry and the Special Olympics Jamaica to improve the lives of individuals without intellectual disabilities to education through sports. The minister said that over the next 4 years, the government is facilitating support for the work of the coalition through cash and kind, through the facilitation of partnerships with the private sector, development partners, and multilateral partners of up to US $300,000. She noted that the commitment will include being an advocate for the coalition and providing opportunities for the Special Olympics movement to have a platform for wide engagement. On cricket news now, India batter Virat Kohli has withdrawn from the first 2 tests against England for personal reasons. The 35-year-old former captain has told India skipper Rohit Sharma and the side's management that certain personal situations demand his presence and undivided. The 5-test series begins in Hyderabad on Thursday. Kohli's withdrawal comes 1 day after England's batter had returned to the UK for personal reasons. Kohli, who has played 113 tests for India, is 4th on their list of all-time leaders leading run scorers with 8,848 runs. He has not missed a test for India for more than 2 years when he was ruled out of the match against South Africa in Johannesburg with a back spasm. Finally, on football, Egypt made it through to the last 16 at the Africa Cup of Nations after drawing 2-2 with Cape Verde following a dramatic finale to Group B in the Abidjan today. Egypt had looked set to finish third behind the Blue Sharks and Ghana before stoppage time goals in both games. Pharaoh's forward Mustafa Mohamed netted what looked to be a 93rd minute winner. However, Cape Verde leveled 6 minutes later, but the Pharaohs secured the second spot as Ghana threw away a 2-0 lead in added time against Mozambique. That's sports in our NRP Evening News Roundup, brought to you by Hepburn's Glass, located at 13 Chisholm Avenue in Kingston. I am Leon Nash. Right after this, it's back to Luan Bramwell Shakes.
Thank you, Leon. We promise to bring you a good news story as often as we can. If you know of or are aware of any event or person whose good story we should highlight, please send this information to our email address at nationalreligious@gmail.com or call WhatsApp 876-336-9928. That's the local news and sport. Stand by now for the latest international news, courtesy of the Voice of America.
This is VOA News. I'm Joe Ramsey. U.S. officials say American and British are bombing multiple sites used by the Iranian-backed Houthis. The joint operation comes about 10 days after U.S. and British warships and fighter jets struck more than 60 targets in 28 locations. That was the first military response to what has been a persistent campaign of U.S. designated terrorist group Houthi drone and missile attacks on commercial ships since the start of the Israel-Hamas war. U.S. military officials said on Monday American forces in Iraq and Syria have come to attack 100 times since mid-October, when Iran-backed militias started firing rockets and drones in support of the Palestinians. VOA's national security correspondent Jeff Selden reports from the Pentagon.
At the White House, officials promised to make sure Iran-backed groups across the region understand they will pay a price.
We'll continue to do what we have to do to protect our troops and our facilities. We are certainly mindful of the danger.
White House National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby says that includes more preemptive strikes against Iran-backed Houthi terrorists in Yemen when they threaten international shipping. Jeff Selden, VOA News, the Pentagon.
EU ministers must call for a ceasefire in Gaza, Palestinian Foreign Minister Riyad al-Maliki said on Monday before a meeting from the 27 member states.
We cannot be hesitant about a ceasefire. Every day that we show hesitancy, people are being killed, innocent people are being killed, children and women and elderly, and this is intolerable and unacceptable.
This is VOA News.
That was the latest news from the Voice of America. Now for the weather report and forecast. Once again, we welcome Leon Nash right after this.
National Meteorological Service of Jamaica is reporting that there is a significant feature of a stationary front north of Jamaica. Additionally, a low-level jet stream is also across the Central Caribbean. The stationary front is expected to remain north of Jamaica and gradually dissipate. The low-level jet stream, however, is expected to remain for the next several days. In the 24-hour forecast, tonight, lingering showers across the sections of northern parishes, partly cloudy elsewhere, windy along coastal areas. Tomorrow morning, isolated showers across sections of northern and eastern parishes, mainly sunny elsewhere. Tomorrow afternoon, expect partly cloudy and windy conditions. In the 3-day forecast after tomorrow, Wednesday, mostly sunny and windy. Thursday and Friday, isolated morning showers across the sections of eastern parishes, otherwise mostly sunny. Isolated afternoon showers across sections of western parishes and hilly areas, otherwise partly cloudy and windy. In terms of other current regional weather features, there is a high pressure ridge across the Gulf of Mexico. The minimum temperature expected for Kingston tonight, 24 degrees. The minimum temperature expected for Montego Bay tonight, 23 degrees Celsius. That is the latest weather report and forecast in the NRP Evening Newscast. Leon Nash reporting.
Thank you for that newscast, Leon. With that, we have come to the end of our news presentation this evening. But before we go, here are the headlines once again. Target date for the ban on plastic lunch boxes and personal care products with microplastic beads set for June 1. Government is actively considering removing the guarantor requirement for Students' Loan Bureau applicants. JCF gets 30 new service vehicles. There has been partial restoration of some roadways blocked by protesters in Northwest Clarendon this morning. MP responds. Ministry of Sports committed to facilitating support of up to $1,000 to benefit special athletes over the next 4 years. The full half-an-hour package of the news this evening came to you courtesy of NRP Radio. Reaching where you are. No boundaries, no limitations.
Celebrating 3 years since our inception, the NRP brand of radio and other social media platforms on NRP Media JA is your newest online platform accessible for the promotion of your church and community activities along with news and sports related information. It's the platform you have been longing for. So call us today at 876-336-9928 or email us at nationalreligiousmedia@gmail.com.
NRP Media and Radio, reaching you where you are. No boundaries, no limitations.
Here is your invitation to join us again tomorrow morning at 6:30 for the NRP Break of Day newscast. On behalf of Leon, who brought you the sports and weather, and the other members of the news and production teams, I am Lou Ann Bramwell Shakes for NRP News. We encourage you to join this growing medium. Feel fulfilled and informed. Have a good rest of your evening. Walk, ride, and arrive alive.